Welcome back to Open Line. We are talking with Dr. Alex Jahangir from the Metro Coronavirus Task Force. You've likely seen him in briefings daily since all of this started. Tonight is your chance to ask him your own questions. The number is at the bottom of the screen, 615-737+. And we're going to get right to your calls. First, let's see. Let's get to Bill's been holding for a while. Bill, thank you for being part of the show tonight. What's your question?
Hi. Yeah. I'm confused so I know that Mayor Cooper has a 4-phase plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so like the first phase includes reopening restaurants, bars, etc. But the safer at home order expires on May 1st. It's like a contradiction. How is that safe, opening restaurants, bars, commercial businesses? I know under restrictions, but still, I know there's a lot of people that feel it's an unnecessary risk and it's very hasty and too soon. I don't know. What are your opinions, your thoughts on that?
Doctor?
Yeah, thank you. That's I want to be your point is our safer at home order currently expires May 1. That's factually accurate. What I'll tell you is that order will more likely not be extended. I don't know what date. Again, once we get closer to that, which is next few days, we're going to look back 14 days, right? And that's, again, one metric, and we'll look at all the other metrics. And very soon, actually, we're working on having a dashboard, if you will, that everyone can see where we are on every metric. I think that will be something we'll put out in the very near future. So to answer your question, if on May 1 or April 30th, all the metrics are green, then we may open. But in short, if the metrics aren't where they need to be, and now, as I mentioned, we had our single largest weekend, so our trend line for the 14 days is a little high right now. Then we're not gonna do that. We're gonna extend the safer at home order to at a certain point, and then we'll keep looking back at that point. So while you're factually right that our order currently does expire on May 1. I know Mayor Cooper will more likely not extend that. I don't know by how long yet or when that order will be updated.
Okay, let's get to Latanya. Latanya, the floor is yours. What's your question? Latanya, go ahead. What's your question?
My question is, the doctor may have touched on this, but several people, myself included, were sick with a negative flu, but some type of upper respiratory viral illness back in January and February, some even in December. So is it possible that these were early cases of coronavirus? And if so, should we be concerned with reinfection from a different strand, or could we possibly get coronavirus, or is it multiplying? Is it making different strands? I guess is what I'm asking.
Great question.
Yeah. So, my wife had a very similar disease and got her really sick right before coronavirus became a thing, right? And the short answer is it is very possible that the COVID-19 was in our communities before our first diagnosed case, and we just weren't looking for it. It also is possible you were infected with a million other things, right? And so I wouldn't just assume you have immunity. What will really be able to tell us this one day, and hopefully soon, is the antibody test. There are lots of quote-unquote antibody tests. So you take either some spit or you take some blood, usually it's blood, and you run it, and it's almost like a pregnancy test. It lines up, it lights up if you have the antibodies or not. The problem is, and the FDA just recently cracked down on these a little tighter, is none of those tests right now, we know what it means, right? First of all, do they actually pick up antibodies? So if you got infected, you develop antibodies. Do they actually pick up the right ones? Secondly, what we don't know is what level of antibody do you need in your body to protect you from future infections. I've read reports both saying there have been people reinfected and people who haven't been reinfected, so I can't answer that question for you. But really, once we get antibody testing more prominent in our community, and we need one that actually has been approved and tested and the science shows it's the right way to do it, I'll be first in line to take that, because I need to know if I've had it, and I think that will give our community a little bit more freedom to be comfortable.
Doctor, we have heard so many mixed messages since all of this started, from even, don't wear a mask, to wear a mask, to if you get it, then you can't get it again. If you take the antibody test, you'll know one way or the other. They just keep coming. From a medical perspective, what does all of this tell you, or what is your message, I guess, to the public about all of this mixed messaging as we learn as we go, kind of?
So I think anytime there's something new, people, there's a lot of noise out there. and I would trust the source that you believe in, this is a scientific issue, so find a strong science voice, and don't believe everything you hear on TV or read. Rather, use your own tools claim. But yeah, I think some of the things you mentioned, the mask one, for example, Surgeon General Adams, who I know and have a great deal of respect and admiration for, initially he said don't wear a mask. Now he says wear a mask. And I think he was basing his recommendations on the science available to him at the time. So I very well 5 or 6 weeks ago may have said something that 6 weeks from now, if I'm still talking to all of you, will maybe change. So understand that this is still a evolving process, and answers may change and science may change, but use science, trust your gut. There's a lot of people out there selling random stuff, and just be smart.
Okay, let's go to Ann's on the line. Ann, thank you for your patience. What's your question tonight?
I don't have a question. I just have a comment.
Okay.
I was 24 when I was diagnosed with with lupus. I'm 63 now, and I have been staying at home, obviously. But I wanted to thank the doctor. I learned long ago who to trust, what to ignore, and I have gotten up faithfully and waited every morning to listen to Dr. Jahangir. I listen for the facts. I listen for the science. I trust that our city is doing what it needs to be doing, and I wanted to thank him for what he has done for our city and for all the residents, and I hope and pray that Mayor Cooper and the team that has done what has been being done continues to do so. Our citizens are in good hands, and I just wanted to say thank you when I had the chance. It is appreciated by those that are compromised. I'm one of them, and there are no thanks. There just aren't words. So thank you for your service.
And that's so kind of you to call in.
Yeah, thank you. It's very humbling to hear. Thank you.
I know you've been very busy. You are a medical doctor. You said you're a surgeon. You're an orthopedist. How has your practice changed during all of this?
Well, I do trauma surgery specifically. So for my world, there isn't much elective. But when I see patients in clinic, it's different. The interactions, I wear a lot more a gown. And beyond that, I now check to see patients that are coming in to visit me, and people such as our last caller or others who I think may be more at risk to come to a healthcare facility. I call them and maybe encourage them to just talk over the phone. Or now telehealth has really become really rampant in medicine, which is superb, and maybe that'll be a big positive change after all this for everyone.
What about those who may be immune compromised or may be older? When do you think things get back to normal for them?
Well, I think for all of society, when there's a vaccine, is the short answer. But I think our immune compromised or elderly residents, they have to be more vigilant than maybe I do or my kids do. But really, until there's a vaccine, none of us are safe from this per se.
Okay, let's get to Teresa. I'm trying to sneak in another phone call before we have to take a break. Teresa, the floor is yours. What is your question tonight?
Yes, hello. I've got one question.
Okay.
Does the doctor feel like a lot of American people does? Has there been a chemical set off that no one is making us aware of?
You're talking about the origin of this virus. Do we know where it came from?
Right, because no one seems to know, and it's like, has the doctors, are they being lied to? Is the American people being lied to? Is this actually a chemical instead of a virus?
Okay. Doctor, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think we do know it's a virus. Now, the origin of the virus, I don't know, and I don't think anyone knows with certainty. But it is a virus. So,
we had a caller call in who didn't want to stay on the line, but she said during mosquito season, is this something that we should worry about that mosquitoes can carry?
I have not seen or heard anything about that. It is an airborne virus. But again, there's a lot we don't know. I don't believe that's going to be a thing because it doesn't go in your blood per se. It's really a respiratory or GI virus.
Okay. We're going to quickly take a break, but I know we have lots of calls to get to, so stay where you are and we'll come right back.